All right, welcome to another episode of the Rapture Hour. My name is Shane, and today we're going to be talking about the rapture for 1 hour. And this time we're going to be diving deep into a couple of scripture verses that talk about the pre-tribulation rapture. So if you're interested in finding out why we believe in a pre-tribulation rapture as opposed to a post-tribulation rapture or a mid-tribulation rapture or pre-wrath, post-trib, all that other stuff, then you've come to the right channel. So feel free to stick around, subscribe, be sure to share this video with a friend, watch it again and again, go through it with a fine-tooth comb, and then at the end, I'd be curious to know your thoughts as well. So feel free to make sure and subscribe. I said that already. So let's just jump in. So we're going to go to Matthew 24. As a lot of people are like, is this a what's going on in Matthew? Is this the second coming of the Lord Jesus Christ? Is this a rapture verse? What's actually going on? So I think it's important to go through Matthew 24. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually put this up on the screen. I'm going to put the whole chapter so we can actually scrutinize it. So hang on 1 second here. Give me 1 second. All right, let's just go to Matthew 24. We're going to have a look here. So I think what it'll be easier for me to do is let's just go through this, the fine-tooth comb here. Let me set this little vanishing pen. So let's go. And Jesus went out and departed from the temple, and his disciples came to him to shew him the buildings of the temple. And Jesus said unto them, see not all these things? Verily I say unto you, there shall not be left here one stone upon the other that shall not be thrown down. And in case you're wondering, in case you're lost right now, this is the King James Version, if that didn't make any sense to you. And as he sat upon the Mount of Olives, the disciples came to him privately, saying, tell us, when shall these things be? And what shall the sign of thy coming and the end of the world? Let's go up here, verse 4. And Jesus answered and said unto them, take heed that no man deceive you, for many shall come in my name. Let me get rid of this. Whoa, that's not what I want. I don't want to erase this one. There we go. Whoops. I don't want to erase all my text. Sheesh. All right, let's go back to this little vanishing pen. Okay. Jesus answered and said unto them, take heed that no man deceive you, for many shall come in my name, saying, I am the Christ, and shall deceive many. And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled, for all those things must yet come to pass, but the end is not yet. So this is important right here. You're going to hear of wars and rumors of wars, but that's not the end. The end is not yet. That day is not yet. What day? The end. It's not coming yet. All this stuff has to come to pass. For nation shall rise against nation, kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines, pestilences, and earthquakes. Again, why is this doing this? There. I don't remember to switch to the vanishing pen. All right, so we see nation shall rise against nation, kingdom against kingdom. And this lines up pretty much with, I think it's the second seal, because remember the first seal is the Antichrist, but the second seal is, I believe, peace will be taken from the earth, and there shall be famines, pestilences, earthquakes in divers places. This just means unique places. All these are the beginnings of sorrows. Then shall they deliver you up to be afflicted, and shall kill you. And ye shall be hated of all nations for my name's sake. So this is talking about Christians, right? So remember, this is before the Lord's coming. They shall deliver you up to be afflicted, and shall kill you. And ye shall be hated of all nations for my sake. These are all the beginnings of sorrows, right? Then shall they deliver you. And then shall many be offended, and shall betray one another, and shall hate one another. And many false prophets shall rise, and shall deceive many. And because iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold. But he that shall endure until the end, the same shall be saved. From what? Well, from the wrath of God, as we'll see. And this gospel of the kingdom shall be preached in all the world for a witness unto all the nations, and then the end shall come. So the end can't come until the whole world has heard the gospel. I think we're pretty close to that right now. When ye therefore shall see the abomination of desolation spoken of by Daniel the prophet stand in the holy place, whoso readeth, let him understand. So we're reading this, so let us understand this. Then let them which be in Judea flee to the mountains. Let him which is on the housetop not come down to take anything out of his house. Why? We'll come back to that. Neither let him which is in the field return to take back his clothes. And woe unto them that are with child, and to them that give suck in those days. Let me just pause this for a second here. I got to grab some more of the verse. All right, continuing on. Verse 20, but pray ye that your flight be not in winter, neither on the Sabbath day, for then shall be great tribulation, such as was not since the beginning of the world this time, nor ever shall be. So we're talking about Jacob's trouble. And except those days should be shortened, there should be no flesh saved. But for the elect's sake, those days shall be shortened. It's kind of interesting, right? So I think this is talking about the election of grace on behalf of those people. And we see this in Revelation, where there are a group of people that are asking the Lord, saying, how much longer? How much longer? And basically Jesus says that just a little while longer, and hands them robes, which is kind of interesting. Talk about that maybe in another video. All right, continuing on here. Then if any man shall say unto you, lo, here is the Christ, or there, believe it or not. Believe it not believe it or not. For there shall rise false Christs and false prophets, and there shall shew great signs and wonders, insomuch that if it were possible, they shall deceive the very elect. Behold, I have told you before. Wherefore, if they shall say unto you, behold, he is in the desert, go not forth. Behold, he is in the secret chambers, believe it not. For as lightning cometh out of the east, and shineth even unto the west, so shall also the coming of the Son of Man be. So this is going to be a bit of a surprise. We don't exactly know when and where lightning shows up when it's a cloudy day. We have an idea, we hear the thunderings and all this stuff, but we don't know when or where. So, for as lightning cometh out of the east and shineth unto the west, so shall be the coming of the Son of Man. So, this is going to be a surprise. For wheresoever the carcass is, there the eagles will be gathered together. This is kind of interesting. This kind of fits a little bit with my theory that the idea that we're probably going to just ditch our body. So it'll be lots of dead bodies. There the eagles will be gathered. Some people say this is the day of vengeance for the Lord and all this kind of stuff, but I think this is a hint right here. Wheresoever the carcass is, there the eagles will be gathered together. Let's go here. Immediately after the tribulation of those days, shall the sun be darkened, and the moon shall not give her light, and the stars shall fall from heaven, and the powers of heavens shall be shaken. Again, this is very symbolic of the first 6 seals in the book of Revelation. Then shall appear the sign of the Son of Man in heaven, and then shall all the tribes of the earth mourn, and they shall see the Son of Man coming in the clouds of heaven with power and great glory. So it's interesting here when we look at this. And then shall appear the sign of the Son of Man, and then shall all the tribes of the earth mourn, and they shall see the Son of Man coming in the clouds of heaven with power and great glory. Notice it doesn't mention anything about his armies following behind. It doesn't mention anything about Jesus Christ riding on a horse, which is in Revelation 19, and we'll talk about that. Verse 31. And he shall send his angels with a great sound of a trumpet. This is where people are like, look at this. It's so obvious and all this kind of stuff. And perhaps this sound could sound very much like thunder, like a thunderclap. We don't know. We just know that there's a great sound of a trumpet, and he's going to send his angels, and they shall gather together his elect. Who are his elect? Those that are elected unto grace, saved by grace. This is under the election of grace from the 4 winds, from one end of heaven to the other. So right here is our rapture. He shall send his angels, the sound of a trumpet, and they shall gather together his elect from the 4 winds, from one end of heaven to the other. So he's going to gather us right here. So when is that going to happen? Well, we have to pay attention now. Now learn a parable of the fig tree. When his branch is yet tender and putteth forth leaves, ye know that summer is nigh. So likewise ye, when ye shall see all these things, know that it is near, even at the doors. So when you see this, when you see wars, rumors of wars, famines, pestilence, all this kind of stuff, remember Jesus said this isn't the end yet, but just pay attention to this, because you know when you see the branch is tender and putteth forth leaves, you know that summer is near. So likewise, when ye shall see all these things, know that it is near. So if we're looking around us and we see famines, pestilences, all this kind of stuff, just know, wars, rumors of wars, just know that we're very close. This is why we're always saying, just pay attention. You go to work, you do your job, you keep your head down, you're working away, but every once in a while you glance up and you're like, you know what? Today the Lord could come. This could be that day. Verse 34, verily I say unto you, this generation shall not pass till all these things be fulfilled. What generation? The generation that sees all of these things that were just mentioned. Wars, rumors of wars, pestilence, betraying one another, killing people that actually hate people that worship Jesus Christ. So are we there just yet? Not in North America, but there is a growing resentment towards Christians. Heaven and earth shall pass away, but my words shall not pass away. This is basically a way of Jesus saying that this is going to come to pass no matter what. Like heaven and earth will pass away before my words pass away. It's just an expression. In other words, his words are going to come true. But of that day and hour, no man, no one knows, right? We love this verse. But of that day and hour knoweth no man, no, not the angels of heaven, but my Father only. But as the days of Noah were, this is important as well. So no one knows, but my Father only. So this is why we keep watch, because we don't know when that day can be. It could be today, it could be tonight, it could be right after I'm done uploading this video. It could be tomorrow, it could be a week, a month, a year, 10 years, who knows? But when you see these signs, you know that we're close. So here's some more signs. But as in the days of Noah were, so also shall the coming of the Son of Man be. For as in the days that were before the flood, they were eating, drinking, marrying, and given in marriage till the day that Noah entered into the ark. This is very important. And knew not until the flood came and took them all away. So shall also the coming of the Son of Man be. So now we got another hint. We got another clue. They were eating, drinking, marrying until the day that Noah entered into the ark and knew not until the flood came. So this tells you right here that it's going to be a surprise. The Lord is coming. He just hinted at it. No one knows. It's going to be like lightning from the east and the west. When you look up in the sky and you watch a lightning storm, you can try and guess. You could look in one direction, go, I think it's going to be here, and then boom, it's somewhere else. So this is how Jesus Christ is going to return. He's telling us, if this was the time of Jacob's trouble and there was wrath upon the earth, think about it, earthquakes that level mountains and islands sink into the sea, fire, demonic locusts coming from the earth, all kinds of horrible signs that scientists are having heart attacks because they're not sure why there's meteor showers. They're not sure why people are being pancaked by 75-pound hailstones. Do you honestly believe life is going to be normal? Do you think people are going to be wanting to have children? They're going to book their wedding vacation, maybe somewhere in Bermuda or Mexico or somewhere like that. Do you think that's what's going to be happening during the 70th week of Daniel? Do you think life is normal? No. Life is normal here. Before the flood. After the flood, there was no more marrying. Why? Because people were in the flood drowning. Horror. Only Noah and his family were in the ark. They were rescued. They were raised up above the water. They didn't go through the flood. A lot of people are saying, like, you want to be around after you want to be left behind. Like, it's just a weird thing to say when Jesus Christ himself is saying, look, for as in the day the days were before the flood. They were eating and drinking, marrying, giving marriage until that day that Noah entered into ark. Notice that Jesus doesn't describe the flood, how many days of the flood, and then what happened afterwards when Noah let out the raven, the dove, all this kind of stuff. Jesus doesn't talk about it. He's talking about before the flood. So this is our hint right here. Before destruction, before the wrath of God, before the end of the world. Because that's what his disciples asked him. What are some of the signs that we have to watch for? Well, you have to be on alert because it's going to look normal, but your clues are when you see wars and rumors of wars, and we're seeing more and more of that. We have Russia and Ukraine. We now have Israel and Hamas. Who knows what's coming down the pipes next week? There could be another war, a rumor of a war. We don't know what's going on in the media. We're just being distracted, but you have to pay attention to what's going around you. And then look at this. And knew not until the flood came and took them all away, so shall the coming of the Son of Man be. Then two shall be in the field, the one shall be taken, and the other left. Two women shall be grinding, and the one shall be taken, and the other left. So this is how Jesus is describing what's going to happen. Two people will be in the field, and one will be taken. So the person taken here is the rapture. The other one is going to be left. How do we know this? Well, because he just gave us the hint right here. Drinking and marrying and giving in marriage until the day that Noah entered into the ark and knew not until the flood came and took them all away. Who's he talking about? He's talking about those in the flood. He's not talking about Noah. Noah's safe in an ark. It's talking about these people being taken away, right? So these people are being destroyed in the flood. So here, two will be in the field. So in this case, the one shall be taken and the other left. Left for what? Left for the wrath of God. So over here, we see that Noah entered into the ark. And we know the story. We know he's safe. Oops. Oh, hang on here. I don't want to lose this. Some people will say, well, this is actually the person being taken is someone that's being taken to destruction. But just read this. Like he's talking about Noah. We know that Noah was being rescued. That's what the flood story is about. It's about Noah being rescued and everyone else being destroyed. So here, Jesus is telling us again, he's saying, look, guys, it's going to be a surprise. Everybody's going to be marrying, given in marriage. There's going to be two people in the field, and then one will be taken. Just like that. Boom, taken to heaven. Boom, the other one left. Two women will be grinding at the mill, going to work, typical day. One shall be taken, and the other left. Watch therefore, for ye know not what hour your Lord doth come. Why do you think Jesus is telling us to watch? It's because he's going to take us up to heaven, and then he can start the 70th week of Daniel. And look at this. But know this, that if the good man of the house had known in what watch the thief would come, he would have watched and would not have suffered his house to be broken up. All right. So he's giving you a picture to say, look, if the good man of the house was watching, if he's paying attention, he would have known when the thief was coming. He would, because he was watching. If someone said, hey, you know what? Your house is going to be broken into tomorrow night at midnight. That good man will stay up all night and all day and be prepared so that his house cannot get broken into. Therefore, be also ready. Be like this guy. Be like the good man. Watch. Because when you're watching, you're going to be ready. For in such an hour as ye think not the Son of Man cometh, Therefore be also ready, for in such an hour as ye think not, the Son of Man cometh. I think it's pretty clear that it's going to be a surprise. Who then is a faithful and wise servant, whom his Lord hath made ruler over his household, to give him meat in due season? Blessed is that servant whom his Lord, when he cometh, shall find so doing. Verily I say unto you that he shall make him ruler over all his goods. So we are to continue to edify each other, build up the church, sound the alarm. We work, we put our heads down, we work hard, but we also pay attention to all the signs around us that, hey, we are near. But look at this. Here's another hint. But if that evil servant shall say in his heart, my Lord delayeth his coming. Some people are saying that, hey, the Lord is not coming until after the wrath of God. That's called post-trib or mid-trib. And Jesus himself is saying, look at this. That's an evil servant to say, my Lord is delayeth his coming. Why? Because this is going to be a surprise. It's going to be a surprise for people. You don't want to be left behind. I promise you, you don't want to be left behind. Jesus is giving us all the hints. He's saying, look, here's all the signs. It's going to look the same way in the days of Noah. Everyone thought peace. Everyone thought, hey, we got so much time on our hands. And Jesus is like, well, that's the time I'm coming. You're going to see this stuff going on, and don't let it be a snare. Don't let the good times be a snare. Pay attention. Look at this. And if the evil servant shall say in his heart, my Lord delayeth his coming, and shall begin to smite his fellow servants, and to eat and drink with the drunken. Can you imagine getting drunk when the Lord shows up and you miss the rapture because you're drunk or stoned out of your mind, or you're beating up a fellow servant, telling them the Lord's not coming, he's coming after the wrath of God? You're wasting your time, and then all of a sudden people are disappearing all around you, and you're left with a beer in your hands with some tequila, vodka, stogies, whatever it is. I'm just picking on that because this is what Jesus is saying right here. People are smiting their fellow servants, and to eat and drink with the drunken. They're hanging around with drunks, people that are drinking, partying, carousing, up to no good. And then all of a sudden, the rapture happens and you're left behind. Don't be like that. That's the whole point. Don't be like that. So how do you be not like that? You pay attention. As a Christian, you pay attention. The Lord of that servant shall come in a day when he looketh not for him. This is the key. And in an hour that he is not aware of. And shall cut him asunder, and appoint him his portion with the hypocrites. There shall be weeping and gnashing of teeth. If you don't think that people are going to be weeping after the rapture, when you're left behind with all the hypocrites, look at this. And appoint him his portion with the hypocrites. There shall be weeping and gnashing of teeth. Notice they're not dead. They're distressed. They're weeping and gnashing. Why? Because they're thinking, why didn't we pay attention to all the signs? Why didn't we listen to all the Watchman channels where people were saying, look, Jesus can come at any time. It's imminent. Anytime. He can come today, tomorrow, a year from now, based on what Jesus shared in Matthew 24. It's right there. It's right there. It's so obvious. So I hope you got something out of this. In the next video, I'm going to be talking about 1 Thessalonians 4. So make sure and subscribe to this channel, because I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to go verse by verse, and we're going to analyze it. And then I'm going to go into Revelation 19 and share with you why Revelation 19 is not a rapture verse, and also 1 Corinthians 15, why that is not a rapture verse as well. So if you like this kind of thing, if you like this type of breakdown, let me know that in the comments. I really appreciate your thoughts. Feel free to let me know where you're watching this video from, and let me know if you got something out of this video. Thanks for watching, and I will see you guys in another video. Bye for now.